all come to pray, going back for warriors, keeping the whispers away. In suits and in skirts, we're the rebels you say, talking about life and dreaming of a different day. On the back row we stay, in the back we don't sway, just let the sermon flow. We're on the back row.
It is time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. It is an Articles of News episode. She is back. She made it safely and dined on several recommendations from Taylor One Chain Westbrook. It is Molly the Ash Ashton. Welcome back from the Machu Picchu and the Incans and all the things. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I have some residual issues from Peru, if you know what I mean. So the entire family is. So,
You're having some what issues?
Some residual issues from possibly eating some food or drinking.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's okay. We're all feeling it. The entire group of us, all 10 of us.
Oh, no.
Life goes on.
Did it happen later in the trip or early in the trip?
After.
Oh, good.
Got done with the trip.
Okay,
And here.
good.
Yeah. So we got through the whole trip perfectly.
Yeah, no, there's nothing worse than hiking and having something like that. They used to call it Montezuma's Revenge.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Didn't have much of that, thankfully, while we were hiking because that would have been awful.
The worst. Miserable.
I'd rather have it here in the comfort of my home.
Worth mentioning, and I want to pull it up because I want to make sure I give him proper attribution. Taylor Westbrook, who gave you recommendations, has now sort of leaned into a new adventure we should tell people about as well. He'll obviously tell us about it as well, but if you go on to Instagram at Wander Westbrook, that is the name of his travel company. He's doing a travel agency. He's giving advice and doing travel things, and you were a recipient of all that.
Yeah, super cool. I know I got in right before he started probably charging for it, so I'm glad I could be a little, I could help him with that. It was awesome. He was great.
Worthwhile, the places that he sent you?
Yeah, definitely. Like he hooked us up with a private driver who got us a guide for a couple of days and gave us some great food recommendations. And anyway, yeah, it was awesome. It was great because I had the Inca Trail part all planned, but we were going to be in Cusco for a few days. And I was like, what do we do? And he just laid it all out. So it was awesome.
Perfect. Took care of you. See what the Cultural Hall does? It brings people together, not only faith, but also traveling as well. Can you imagine if there were a co-host that I had that never went anywhere?
That would be weird.
Yeah. Everyone always is like, and I'm off on all of these things. I'm sensitive to it because I think that we all recognize we're blessed in that we're able to do some of these things, but I do feel bad or like there's a non-representation of like the person that's like, yeah, I have little kids at home and we don't go anywhere that isn't in the car. And that's the phase of life we're in. So know that we think about you, that person who is the majority of the people that probably listen to this.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But those were some really good days too. Loved the road trips. In fact, I have one child who still just prefers road trips over flying anyway. So, but yeah, that's what it is for many years with kids.
I saw the pictures and it was quintessential like teenage kids on a thing that mom wanted them to be on. Geez, some of those pictures, it's like, good for those kids. Thanks for representing the generation. We're at Machu Picchu and they're like, seriously, the cell phone service sucks.
I know. No, actually, I haven't even posted our actual Inca Trail photos yet because I just haven't had time. But there was one picture. It's probably the one you're referring to. One of my friends was like, this looks like an Abercrombie or a Gap ad. It's like all the teens and early 20, they're all kind of like gazing out in the distance, kind of not, they're bored if they've heard enough Incan facts. And it was cool. They were actually all really fantastic and all really, really enjoyed the trip. So they were trippers for sure.
Yeah, you let them know that if any of them never wants to come or if like they do something terrible last minute, that I will take their place in that trip so quick. So don't let them ever, take it for granted.
I absolutely will. I'll let them know.
Good. Thank you.
They've got to fill in on the side.
Yeah. watch it. You can be replaced. That's what every mom should tell their child.
It's so true. It's so true. I have to say, my 14-year-old daughter, after the trip, I actually reached out to Taylor because I was like, Taylor, I need some words of wisdom from you. On late the night we got home, my daughter was just crying. And she's like, Mom, how can I come home to the comforts of like that we live in? And I feel so badly for the Peruvian people that we were with and the porters, all the people that helped us. And we had some really, really good conversations about how really truly happy those people are and how they don't know that, they don't know our life. Our lives are very, very different. And I said, Taylor, can you like help reassure her that it's okay and they really are happy? And something that he said that was so wise, he's like, the amount of depression, the amount of anxiety, mental health is almost non-existent down there. He said in a lot of ways, those people are probably happier than we are. And I think that was like a really cool lesson for my 14-year-old to see that like, you don't need to have the latest and greatest, the clothes from wherever and the phones and that sort of thing. And you can truly just be happy being healthy and having a job and all those things. So it was really a fantastic experience.
Yep. When you were talking about clothes, did you almost say Gerbeau jeans? Because I would have absolutely loved if you would have thrown out, like it's like you have to have the Gerbeau jeans, and there's a certain generation that knows 1,000% what we're talking about, and everyone else is Googling now. Gerbeau jeans?
Yeah, exactly.
But that kind of thing.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you were able to do it. Is there anything in particular? I love that experience. I want to give you a minute or two more if there's something that you're like, you know what, this.
Yeah, I had a couple of really poignant experiences with my oldest nephew, who's he's left the church a few years ago, and at one point we were hiking, and the Incas built the Inca Trail to be close to God, so it's going way up. I mean, we're going straight up for hours and hours and hours. And he made a comment, and he's like, why did they build it going straight up? He goes, why didn't they just build this down along the riverbed? Like, it would be so much easier. And I said, well, what we know about the Incas is that they built their communities, their temples close to God. They wanted to be physically as close to God as possible. And I'm like, the greatest thing that we know is that physically we don't have to be close to God. And it's all about spiritually how close we are to him. And we talked a lot about that and about how God is going to be with us always, whether we're down at the river bottom or up on top of the mountain. And his dad was like so excited that I had this little nugget of, a spiritual moment, which was good. I think on anything like this, there was a moment where my sister, the guide had to carry her bag for almost a whole day of the hike. And, I talked to the kids about how we can liken that to life and how sometimes we just feel like the load is too hard and we just cannot do it. And those are the moments that God is going to step in and he's going to lighten that load for us. And it's really amazing to be able to be completely phone free, which I was so sad I couldn't post anything because we really had no service, which was so amazing. Only about 25,000 people each year hike the Inca Trails. So to be in the middle of the Andes Mountains and to be surrounded by these ancient ruins and waterfalls and jungle, and it was just remarkable. And I just am so amazed by the earth that we live on and the bodies that we've been given that allow us to be able to do things like that. And I felt great the whole time. Like I said, having my youngest daughter with me was really amazing. She had some major mental blocks one day, the hardest day, where she broke down crying 3 or 4 times. And we had some, pep talks and said some prayers and she got through it and she did it well and she was strong. And I think being able to do that and show my kids that you can do really hard things was really probably one of my favorite things about it.
I love the idea of being able to get kids away from phones, right? Or just people, right? We don't need to couch it in the youth. The youth needs to be away from their phones. You certainly benefited from it and the connection with his family and stuff like that. I think that's valuable. I wonder though, did you plan this as there will be great object lessons that I'll be able to teach the gospel of Jesus Christ as we hike this, or did it just sort of happen because you were open and able to connect to it?
It absolutely just happened. I mean, there was no preconceived notion of any lessons we were going to have or talk about or anything. And it just naturally happened because we were just there and we had no distractions. I mean, there were a couple of times some of us were listening to music to get through the really hard parts. But for the most part, yeah, it was just being one with nature and one with God. And we met other people there. We met some really awesome people who started the hike the same day that there was actually a whole group from Utah. I could tell. We passed them along the way on day one, and I'm like, they've got to be from Utah. And we started chatting, and they were a group of like some brothers, uncle, a couple friends, and then an 86-year-old man. And he was like the dad of the group, and he's the oldest person to have ever completed the Inca Trail. And we got to be there the day that he finished when he went into Machu Picchu. And it was truly remarkable. I mean, there was one day of the Inca Trail where when we went back and looked at like the number of flights of stairs we climbed, it was like climbing the Empire State Building 3 times in a row over the course of like 3 hours. And this cute 86-year-old man was doing it. His son was carrying his backpack for him. So his son had 2 backpacks. And I loved seeing that. And then you had my daughter who's 14, who's one of the youngest. They said they don't get many kids under 16 that do it. So it was really, really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One other thing, and then one of our actual articles of news we're going to get into the opening exercises, which is this. But I got to ask about this. You're speaking at the Arizona State University Institute?
Yes, I am. I don't know how that came about. Someone turned my name into the institute director, and he reached out to me and said, we do this devotional series all summer long, and they're looking for, people who have, have a life they've built while staying close to the gospel. And they said, we think it's pretty cool that you're a business owner, that you like to travel the world and doing it all while still keeping your testimony intact. And we'd love to hear from you and have you offer some, insights to the Institute members. So
what are you going to do? What are you going to talk about? What's the thing?
So it's an hour long, and basically I'm actually going to talk a lot about my experience climbing Mount Kilimanjaro a few years ago. I'm going to talk about my mom dying at a very young age and how that kind of shaped me into wanting to do as much as I could to be able to explore the world. And I mean, I haven't planned it all yet, so this catch me a little off guard, but I've thought a lot about some key points I want to talk about. I remember being a young teenager and thinking I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom someday. And that never really sat right with me. I'm like, want to be a mom. I want to raise my kids in the gospel. I want to do all of those things, but I think I need more than that. And so I am actually going to talk a lot about being a business owner while still being a very involved mom and being able to kind of have it all and not feel like you have to be put into one thing or the other. You can be a mom or you can be a business owner. It's like, no, we can do both, and we can really live our dreams, and we can really do all of that through I have a lot of really amazing temple experiences that I'm going to share with them that have really shaped me in deciding whether we should open this business or not, that sort of thing. And I'm going to talk about
You already have an hour.
I know. That's what I'm saying. There's like a lot. I've got a lot of books.
And then I'm going to talk about when I was 7 and also when I was 11. And then the other thing that I need to ask you about this, though. So are all the people on that roster, are they all members of the church? Do you know?
They are supposedly, yeah. From what they had to get they had to talk to my bishop, stake president, and everything to make sure I was like good to go. So
did you notice who else was on the list with you?
The wrestler?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So here's what I need. Here's what I need from you. I know. Listen, I am proud of you, and also I want to find out. First of all, if he is, and then I want to be able to talk to him. So Jimmy Snuka Jr., if you know Jimmy the Superfly Snuka, his dad, I can only presume, based on the junior next to his name, I didn't know that he was a member of the church. I don't think his dad was a member of the church. Convert, that would be an amazing guest for the Cultural Hall. I had now given you the assignment.
I will definitely, I will try for that. I'm definitely going to try to attend as many of the devotionals as I can. So I will do my very best because that would be amazing.
And report back. Here is the news article that I wanted to share. It's not really a news article. It's one of these like, Dear Gertrude at the blah, blah, blah press. What do I do about? And it actually is Dear Prudence is this. And this is from the Slate. The headline is, Help! I bought my Mormon friend a gift that she loved, and then I realized what it's made of. So here is the letter. Dear Prudence, a friend visited a winery not long ago. They sell things other than wine, including homemade pastries, and she brought me some of their brownies, since she knows I don't drink and and I have a sweet tooth. They were delicious, and I decided to save some in the freezer for when my friend Sarah came to visit the following week from out of town. Sarah loved them as much as I did and told me from now on this is all that she wants me to send her for Christmas and birthdays. Over Easter, I had the chance to visit the winery with my family, so I of course picked up some more brownies. When I asked about their unusual name, they're called Freak Show brownies, the staff member I spoke to said the name comes from the wine that they are made with. I thought they had something of a strong-ish taste, but it never dawned on me that wine could be an ingredient. Ordinarily, that wouldn't be a problem, as I will eat things where wine is an ingredient from time to time, except for one thing. Sarah is a Mormon. What do
Oh,
I do here? Pretend I never found out and continue to give her more brownies as she requested? Or do I come clean and tell her I didn't know they were made with wine at the time I gave them to her and beg for forgiveness? So there's a response that Prudence gives, but I thought that this was an interesting thing. To you personally, you eat a brownie that's got the alcohol in it. You eat a chocolate liqueur.
well, I mean, that's the thing with a brownie, it's going to be baked. So the wine, the alcohol is going to be baked out. I have a favorite bread we make that's a beer bread. And in fact, like we have a case of beer in our pantry to make that beer bread. And I've never thought anything of it because we're baking it and the alcohol should be baked out. So I would have no problems personally eating it, knowing that. Now, like a chocolate liqueur, like a little chocolate that maybe has a liqueur in it, that's going to be a little bit different for me because I don't think it's baked and you're going to taste the liquor. I've had some before. I mean, but on the brownie thing, I just don't think I think that's a non-issue. I wouldn't even think to say anything. I mean, if she really likes the brownies, then I think you're good to go. It's like
Okay.
putting grape juice in it at that point, right?
Well, so let me ask you this about what you said though. You got the case of beer in the pantry. Do you feel weird buying the beer when you go to the grocery store? You might see one of the women from your ward. Oh no, look, it's for a beer bread, guys. No, listen, it's not a thing. And do you feel like it normalizes in a harmful way having beer in your pantry for your kids? Like the 14-year-old is like, man, that Incan Trail was a little harder than I thought. You know what I need is a nice cold one from the pantry. I'm going to kick this back. Worried about that at all?
Not really. I made a joke to my kids a few months ago. I'm like, every time I come home from a trip, I'm counting how many beers are in that case to make sure. And they were like, really? I'm like, no, no. I don't know. Am I naive to think my kids aren't going to touch it? I don't know. I mean, I know my kids very, very well, and I just don't think they are. In fact, my 14-year-old is our bread maker. So I bought it for her to make the beer bread with, and she opened it up and smelled it, and she almost vomited. She's like, Mom, this is so gross. So I think I think it's okay. I'm sure other people have different opinions of it, but
Sure, I'm asking yours though.
yeah, my opinion is it's fine. Growing up, my mom had cooking sherry in the pantry, and my girlfriends and I drank it one night, and
For real?
I wonder if
Terrible, I would suspect.
it was terrible. It was terrible. I don't even know if it's real. I don't know, but I don't have any problems with it. And if someone saw me buying it in the grocery store, I'd be like, yeah, it's for my beer bread. I mean, my husband, when he used to work his corporate job, he used to be in charge of a lot of the social events, and he was in charge of going to Costco and buying all the alcohol because they knew he wouldn't be drinking it. He was given the corporate card. He would literally have a cart full of alcohol, and he'd see people, and I don't know. I don't think there's any reason we need to shame anyone for buying it when, I don't know.
Yeah,
Doesn't.
it's funny to me because so there's a chili recipe that I make that uses like a half a bottle of Mexican beer, the Corona,
Right.
to get all the cooties off the thing, and then you boil it, and then you stick it in, and it's good, delicious, right? It's fantastic. Boils. I cook it for a long time. Whether or not it cooks out, we'll talk about that here in just a second. But I remember like the first time going to the grocery store, and it was like people that are watching us on YouTube, by the way, says subscribe to us on YouTube. I've got the large bottle of beer because we were making a big batch of it, and I'm like, this is for chili. I am not drinking this. Should anyone see me, I need you to know that I am not drinking this. It is for a chili rest. Like I felt like I had to
Had to.
claim to everyone. No. And I'm sure that everyone was like, dude, if you drink it or not, I don't care. That's fine. Who cares?
Yeah. So what did Prudence say?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. The answer back, come clean. I don't think it's a crisis, and that's not just because I'm not Mormon. It might not be the best news that your friend has ever heard, but I believe the consensus is that when food is cooked, most of the alcohol is burned off. It also doesn't sound like you know for certain whether Sarah herself consumes food cooked without alcohol or not. It seems, at least anecdotally, it's a mixed bag on whether folks interpret the rule so stringently. So when you hear that, do you know the story of which that author is likely referring to, of one of the prophets? Do you remember this story?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember, but yes. Oh, shoot.
So the story anecdotally is David O. McKay. He's at a Christmas party for something, right? And it's and there's a cake, a rum cake. And spoiler, it's called rum cake, everyone, because there's rum in the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes that David O. McKay, at a reception he once attended, the hostess served him rum cake. All the guests hesitated, watching to see what McKay would do. He smacked his lips and began to eat when one guest said, "But President McKay, don't you know that that is rum cake?" McKay smiled and reminded the guest that the word of wisdom forbade drinking alcohol, not eating it. And so I think that that's sort of an interesting thing that I think within the church we sort of, whether or not that's a true experience,
Yeah.
historians that listen to us, I'd love to know if that is in fact a true and documented experience, at least to the level that it would be documented. But I always sort of think that, right? It's not like, oh man, I got so plowed by this batch of brownies from the winery. I can't even, that's not a thing that's happening.
When you first started reading it, I thought you were going to say they were pot brownies, and that maybe is a whole different conversation. I'm not sure, but.
Well, let me ask you this about that. Like, we've had some episodes. In fact, episode number 420, we talk all about cannabis in the church. People can go and check out that episode. Like, if I needed it for medicinal purposes for some reason, I wouldn't hesitate for a second.
For sure. I agree with you on that, actually. Totally agree. But I think baking them in brownies is not medicinal. I think that's a little more for entertainment value. I don't know, recreational to me.
For entertainment. Ooh, we're picking this. It's entertaining. Yeah, maybe more recreational, but I think some that's the way that they could take it because they wouldn't want to get because of the burning of this and again, I don't need that medicinally, so I've never done that. But I do think it's interesting how some people would be fine doing something like that medicinally, but it's like, oh, there's alcohol in this thing. Nope, we don't drink the cooked this and that.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's very interesting.
What I would do, just so everyone knows, and Prudence, if you're listening, I would find out who that person's bishop is and let them tell them. I'm not sure if you know this. Those brownies you've been enjoying from your friend, they're not. And if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and, I know I've asked you tonight to bring your temple recommend here with you. If you wouldn't mind sliding that across the table, I'm going to go ahead and keep that for a while. I realize the error of your ways. Let's take a break. When we come back, second half, we've got actual articles of news. Let me take just a moment to tell you all about bestdjinutah.com. That is the website where you can learn all about me. Oh, sure, you probably feel like you know me, but you know me in the cultural hall sense. I have a DJ company now, 6 of us strong. Great event hosts, MCs, and DJs that can be able to make whatever event you have coming up absolutely spectacular, and hope you will reach out to us. Now you're thinking, well, wait a minute, Richie. I don't live in Utah. Would you travel? Absolutely, I would travel. Would they travel? Absolutely, they would travel. Whatever your event is, doesn't have to be a wedding or a community event. We can do all sorts of things. I can teach you line dancing. I can dance with you. We can do partner dancing. We can do all kinds of things, but we can't do any of it if you don't hit me up. You can go to bestdjinutah.com. You can fill out the form to get more information or get a quote, and then I will get right back to you. Find out why I'm so busy and why sometimes we don't get episodes of the Cultural Hall. It's all because of bestdjinutah.com. Here in the second half of Articles of News, we do, yes, you guessed it, actual Articles of News. Hit it, Peter.
You can't lose articles of news.
And away we go. When we chatted before, we talked a little bit about Lori Vallow Daybell, guilty. And I asked you to follow up. I would love to be followed up upon.
Well, I had a little bone to pick that time because my sister actually covered the Lori Daybell Vallow Daybell guilty verdict. And I really feel like that should be reserved for me because I literally live down the street from her. You know that, right? Like,
well, not anymore, unless you're living in the prison.
Not anymore, but I'm sure she and I crossed paths at Target many times. But also her nephew, who was the attempted murder, he's in my stake, like literally down the street from me. So I feel like I have a lot of firsthand knowledge. But the one thing that I brought up, though, I was like, did you hear about the green chili enchiladas? You're like, no, you need to fill. Okay. So during the trial, she was cross-examining her brother-in-law or something and about a family party. This is just kind of a funny thing that happened in the trial. And she's like, I served my green enchiladas that night, right? The green chili enchiladas. And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, no, like, I served those green chili enchiladas. I mean, she went on and on. It was the big joke that in that particular questioning, he couldn't remember. And she's like, I get together 10 times a year and every time I make my green chili enchiladas. Do you not remember that? Anyway, it was just kind of funny. I don't know why it made me laugh, but it was one of those things that when the verdict down here in Arizona, when it came out that she was guilty, all the memes going around all over was like the green chili enchiladas. So
listen, if he would have remembered, maybe she wouldn't have been guilty.
Maybe. And I think that's what she was trying to get across. Was like, you just remember, this is going to free me from everything I've done. So
remember my enchiladas, right?
Yeah.
Something in your eye, Lori? What's going on?
Exactly. You'll have to look it up. It's hilarious. It's like, really, why does this matter? But yeah, so guilty. And she still has another trial she's facing, I think in June. So we'll have more to discuss.
Great. Since you're so close, since you're besties, essentially, can you get that green chili enchilada recipe?
I will definitely work on it. My girlfriend and I have been trying.
Seriously, ask her on the steak. Someone's got to. Someone,
Definitely. Oh, I will.
Well, this is interesting, twofold. The worst of us is getting spread around. You know what, maybe the greatest missionary tool ever within the church has been?
What?
Book of Mormon. You know what the second biggest missionary tool for the church has ever been?
No.
Dirty soda, hands down.
Yeah.
Dirty soda and Mormonism, maybe, dirty soda not as life-changing, though some would swear, more life-changing than the Book of Mormon. I would contend second biggest thing about the church and associated with the church. Maybe temples, maybe white shirt missionaries, but there are two stories. I have one where a woman and her bestie that used to be a member of the church toured the entire state of Oregon for soda shops, for these dirty soda shops. And they've all got the names, like you got Burgerville is one of them.
Burgerville, I love Burgerville.
You've got Fizz and Sip. They've all got names like that. I didn't know that Dutch Bros did a dirty soda.
Yeah, I mean, Dutch Bros kind of does everything. So
yeah, they're like, we would like your money, please. We will make that thing for you.
Oh, yeah.
So they do this tour of it, and then blown up on TikTok. There's a woman. I can't figure out if she's a member of the church or not, but she's from Canada. She moves to Australia. She brought Australia the dirty soda, and Australia loves the dirty soda. She's been there 6 months, operating out of a food truck, hand over fist.
Wow.
Making the money down in Australia.
That's awesome.
But associated with Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah.
And then subsequently members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because we don't drink alcohol unless it's baked.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. No, I think that's super interesting, actually. And I'm trying to remember it was Swig, really, that was the very first with the dirty soda, right?
Well, as far as like the model that so many of us know, yes, but there are lots of places that have claimed, we were the first dirty soda, or the idea of making a soda dirty has been around long before Swig sort of popularized it, but they very much were like, this is the big deal. And that, of course, is what they drink in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yes, yes, of course. Well, interesting about that Canadian lady going to Australia. That's really fascinating. And, it's interesting because companies have a hard time surviving in Australia. I've been learning from a friend. And so it's really great that she's doing really well. Crumble is actually one of the next places they're expanding is Australia. And I'm really curious if it's going to do well and survive. I think I heard Starbucks didn't even survive in Australia. So the fact that Dirty Soda is doing well is awesome.
Is this you telling me about how you and your husband are now going down under to open up 25 new Crumble stores in Australia? It's okay.
I thought about it. We thought about it. We thought long and hard. And when I looked at like minimum wage there and just the laws and all of that, it's not worth it. I think it's going to be a big risk. So I don't want to do it.
Huh.
I'm good.
His minimum wage is so high, like the cost of labor and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, minimum wage is really high there. So then you have to price the cookies really high. And it's just at a certain point, you price out the cookies. Like you can't charge $10 for one cookie. You know what I mean? And so and Crumbles in Canada, they're kind of struggling with the same thing just because the dollar is not super strong. Well, the Canadian dollar isn't very strong. So having they're kind of struggling as well. Like Crumble's super popular up there, but they're not able to charge enough to offset the cost of doing the business. So it's, I think so.
But they get the break because Canadian eggs are cheaper than American eggs because only American birds have bird flu.
Somehow.
It's not a conspiracy, right?
Yeah, somehow it didn't cross the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else can, but not the bird flu.
I know. It's crazy, actually. But one secret, though, Dirty Soda is going into Crumbles in Canada this summer. So they're going to be trying some Dirty Sodas up there in the Crumble stores to kind of see how it goes. It's like
you don't get in trouble for what you just said.
I know. I think people know. Like, I think the rumors are out there. So I think it's okay.
And the rumors are true.
Yeah.
Tell me, I didn't give you much time to look through the news that I sent you, but what is there that you might wish to talk about?
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about was the missionary in North Carolina who recently was killed. I saw that on the news the other day and it just broke my heart. He was Elder Lange, 18, was actually waiting on a visa. I can't remember. I think to Jamaica. I think his original call was Jamaica. So he was in North Carolina waiting on a visa and a car lost control and hit he and I think his companion as well, but his companion only suffered minor injuries, but it did kill him. And, just as a mom of missionary age children and having a son who was on a mission, like that's your biggest fear the whole time is that what if something like that happens? And I just feel so sad and for their family. I did see his aunt actually post something on Facebook the other day where it was just a really sweet message about how, God needs him now and we're okay. And it's okay. We're going to be okay. And I'm just like, oh, that's a strong family to say like, it's going to be okay. I think it's hard.
Yeah. And apparently, as you mentioned, so the car jumps the curb and then rescuers tried to like perform CPR. It was quite the street side scene. Yeah. It wasn't that kind of quick out. So just devastating about things like that.
Yeah, really sad. Well, and this is another one that I don't know if you touched on. I don't think you have. I've been listening to articles and news. There was an elder in South Africa who recently passed away. He came down with viral meningitis and just really bad. And I think he was from the Philippines and his family couldn't get visas together to be able to say goodbye to him. So they said goodbye over Zoom. And again, just really heartbreaking when that kind of thing happens. So
yeah,
really.
Yeah. A while, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, it seemed like there were just a ton of deaths among missionaries. We had one of those peculiar years where it was like, it seemed like every week. And one week we had like 3 elders or sisters that passed away. And everyone was like, is there something going on? Is it that there were more people serving? It's unfortunate when it happens for sure. And, if the Lange family or any of these families, to be able to reach out and just be like, hey, know that you are thought of and cared for. I mean, stuff like that matters. I had a friend of mine that This is unrelated to the church necessarily. I don't think he's LDS. But went to high school with him. We weren't particularly close. His mom died. He posted a message about how his mom was his best friend. She was a single mom for a long time, and just this example of like strength and grit and all these things. And I just sent him a message. It was like, hey, your mom sounded like she was pretty amazing, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Didn't know her at all, never met her, and didn't really know him. And he took the time to send a message back that was like, hey, you know what? Thanks. It's really meaningful that you would do something like that. So whether it's someone in your ward or the missionary that's serving or anything like that, I think that taking a moment to say, hey, maybe I'm going to say the wrong thing, but I just want you to know that you're thought of and loved, I think is better than not saying anything.
Yeah.
Another earthquake down in Myanmar, and the church sent $4 million in donations that will go to 5 different organizations. This just happened within the last week. A 7.7 magnitude earthquake. Well, I guess this is actually the earthquake is like 6 weeks ago or so, but they just sent another $4 million down there. It's going to go to the CARE International Medical Corps, Project Hope, UNICEF, and the World Food Program. So good to see that the money is going out to help those people, especially when you know like USAID and some of these other things that are notorious for helping countries in need are a little bit otherwise occupied presently.
Yeah.
Bless their heart. Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't heard about that earthquake. That's unfortunate.
7.7 is a huge one.
Huge.
I want to try and get through as many kind of articles as we can. So let me ask you this. This is more kind of your perspective kind of thing. I have long thought about wearing a cross.
Uh-huh.
I think that it's probably more typical for women to wear certainly jewelry at all, but a cross. Would you wear a cross necklace? You've got one on your bracelet. Would you go so far? And that this is not to diminish it, but that's pretty small.
Yeah.
Yours is less than an inch, easy.
It's tiny. It's very dainty. Yes.
Yeah. But would you? I mean, and I'm not talking like these ones that we see, in music videos that are like 5 inches wide, and you're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? But like a reasonably sized, like 1 inch, 2 inch cross. Would you wear something like that? Would you ever do that? And if you wouldn't, is it just it's not your taste, or you're like, that would not identify me as I would want to be identified religiously, etc.?
I don't think I would, because it's not my taste. I prefer things that are very understated, very dainty. I've been wearing this cross on my wrist for 3 years. I don't take it off. I mean, ever. I would wear a small one on my neck just because I prefer small jewelry. My daughter actually wears a cross. She's been wearing one on her necklace for 2 or 3 years. I honestly, for so many years, we thought there's a stigma with wearing a cross, and you don't wear the cross in the church.
We celebrate the life, not the death.
Right. And for me, it became something where I feel a connection to other Christians. When they see that I have a cross, they have there's this common theme that we both believe in Christ, and that the cross is just a universal symbol of that. And I like not feeling different from them. I like feeling like we do have a lot of similarities. So I have no qualms with someone wearing a cross that's 1 inch or 2 inches, if that's what they want and that's what they like. I think that's totally fine. It's just not my personal style. So that's really the only reason why I wouldn't do it, probably.
I wonder if that's a different thing. I may have to try it out as part of a social experiment too. In Utah, it might ring a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because I think there's so many people that were, I don't like to use the word indoctrinated, but that's what it is. For so long, we celebrate the life, not the death. And we also sort of celebrated the fact that we were different, right? We use a cross because we are different. We have a prophet. We have the Book of Mormon. And I think for a long time, sort of towed that line of we are a different thing. And people are now getting a little bit skittish that we're like, no, we're trying to be two samesies. We're trying to be too much like everyone else. We want to be too accepted by everyone else. But I love what you say. A Christian person looks at a cross and goes, that person is a Christian person. Yep. Most of the time. There's some jerks who wear crosses. We all know that. But they're trying. They're trying their best as
Yep.
far as that goes.
Yeah. I remember years ago, one of the member of my stake presidency has a little cross that he wears on the lapel of his suit jacket. And that was before anyone was wearing crosses, because now there's been articles in various magazines and publications about how it is okay to wear the cross if that's something you feel compelled to do. And I loved that he wore that and he had no shame in wearing that. Well, he grew up a Protestant. He didn't grow up in the LDS church. And so the cross was always really important to him. And it was just a really good example to me that like, it's really okay. And if we feel compelled to do that, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm good. I think I might just do it. But for me, like, I feel like it has to be super symbolic. Like, am I going to make it out of like rosewood, which is what I think they say the cross was actually made out of? Like, I'm that guy.
That's
Well, it's like, hey, you notice this, but I need you to know that it's made out of olive tree because I believe that's where you know what I'm saying? Like all of those, I would need to have more than just like, yeah, it's my cross. I'm wearing the cross, but I'm a Jesus guy like you. And I don't know why I'm a New York Jesus guy, apparently. I started doing that, but apparently I...
Well, you're in New York, you're going to have a really big cross then.
Yeah, real big. Did you see this story? Needless to say, drugs involved. Lancaster, this is Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. A Lancaster man is facing multiple charges after police say that he burglarized a church. We hear about this a lot, right? Church gets in, they smashed. There was a huge thing, and we'll get to this in a second, in Provo. I'll talk about it now. A chapel in Provo. They turned the piano over and smashed it out. They smashed out keys of the organ, all of these things, right? Just thousands and thousands of dollars in a Provo church. Well, they do things a little different in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. That guy, he broke some things. He turned over some things, and he did it naked. So if you're gonna do it, that I think is the way you have to commit to doing it. I don't ever think you should destroy someone else's property, but do it naked.
You're naked. I mean, just take it up a notch, and
turn it up to 11. Like I said, needless to say, methamphetamines involved in that, as well as other drug paraphernalia as well. Completely nude.
Completely nude. Who would think?
I came into the world naked. I go into God's house naked. That's
right.
Attributing that to that. What? Tell me what story you might like to talk about. We've got about time for one or two more stories, maybe.
This is a pretty quick one. So the Book of Mormon Experience comes to the 2025 Buenos Aires Book Fair. And I love this. The Book of Mormon Experience arrived in South America for the first time on April 24th, 2025. And it's a book fair which welcomed more than 1.1 million visitors. This stood out to me because we talked about this happening in Germany maybe 6 or 8 months ago.
Yep.
And where it started in Frankfurt, Germany, where they invite people to discover central messages of the Book of Mormon. Visitors are invited to read a random excerpt from the Book of Mormon and share their spontaneous thoughts. Many have been surprised to discover the spiritual depth of the text. It says the comments and portraits of those who choose to participate will become part of a global mural that has already traveled to international fairs such as the Frankfurt Book Fair in Germany. It says many people have heard of the Book of Mormon and already have an opinion about it. However, few have actually read it. With this experience, we want to change that page by page. And I just think it's small, and it's a small way to get people to take a little taste of the Book of Mormon. It's not big, it's not overwhelming, but like read a passage and see how you feel. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah. So very cool. The look of this display, it's essentially like if you've ever been to a big trade show, right? I don't know, does Crumble have you guys go to a big trade show in Vegas? I know there's like a restaurateur things, and you go to these setups that they have, and it's neon lights, and people bring in an RV that's been turned into a photo booth experience, and it's like you try and do these big things at these shows to be able to attract people to, and ours for the book fairs, top notch.
Yep. Yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
This I thought was interesting. So BYU, warning everyone, we're going to talk sports for 2 seconds. There is or was, I should say, or might currently be, that's how much about this sports I know, Boise State quarterback Hank Bachmeier. All right. He's a member of the church. He has a younger brother younger brother is named Bear, and his younger brother plays quarterback. Bear Bachmeyer.
And
He's going to go to BYU, and his brother Tiger is a wide receiver. Is that what I remember reading?
yes, I believe so.
So I am surprised that I am the only one that has done this. There is another football player. His last name is Lyons, Lyons. Why we have not talked about, and I think it's because this Lyons character, it's like Ryder Lyons or something like that is the guy's name. And it's spelled, by the way, REIGHEDDDDDTER, something obnoxious like that. Ryder Lyons, I don't think he's committed to BYU yet, but if we do not get Ryder Lyons, we need to give a scholarship, take my tithing money I paid this year, and just go after someone with the last name Lyons so that we can have them come out arm in arm with leg going in front, sort of like the monkeys, Lions, Tiger, and Bear. Oh my, why am I the only one that has thought about this?
That would be amazing. We got to make that happen. I will donate all my tithing money as well. Let's do it.
Yeah, it seems like low-hanging fruit, but I have not seen, and maybe people are like, does anyone even know? Does anyone even know that anymore? Is that a thing? But yes, people do. Gotta know. Got to know.
Totally. Well, and it's just funny they'll be playing for the Cougars. I mean, we got all these animals. I wonder if they have any other siblings and what their names are. We should look that up because
Well, and I appreciate that question because I thought, okay, Hank and Tiger and Bear. So, like, is it, and I hate to project this in because I literally have no idea, was it like Hank was the grandpa, or was it like maybe a different dad situation? Like the one dad's like, nah, we'll call him Henry. Hank, that's what this kid. And then for whatever reason, it doesn't work out. And the next one is a zoologist. And it's like, my children will be named animal names.
Yeah.
You know,
I love it. So
which is unfortunate because you get in a family like that, the zoologist, you have Bear, Tiger, and then Dick Bachmeyer. You know what a Dick is?
yes, it's a bird, right?
No.
No.
Nope.
What is the dick?
You're,
Oh,
don't say that too loud. Your kids may be listening. Your husband will never let you record news with me ever again.
never.
That will be the title of this episode, though. What's a Dick?
Well, I'm really excited for this upcoming BYU season. Now, is he able to play right away? Do they have any waiting time, like certain number of games? I don't know how that all works.
Listen, it's all about money at this point. I think they used to have to wait a year, but now that we pay them millions, I think that we're like, listen, we want our money out of it, and they can transfer away after a season. So I feel like they can't make them wait or whatever. I don't know. We're the two wrong people to speak about something like that, but
we have for a little.
Yeah. Come on, get in there, Bear. Go get him, Bear. And
I do have BYU season tickets this year, so I'm very excited about that.
You say that again?
I have BYU season tickets this upcoming fall.
Season football tickets?
Yes,
I live in Arizona.
I know, but I can fly for free anywhere.
This is a thing. This is a thing. Okay.
I know.
Well, then lunch is on you when you come up to the game.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll do it.
Let's do one more. Is there any other story that you were like, oh, hey, how about this? We should talk about this.
The one, I've just lost it. Where it's talking about the LDS Church giving aid while the U.S. Foreign aid.
Yeah.
Yep. The government is cutting back on foreign aid. The LDS Church is committed to doing what they can for the United Nations World Food Program. Presiding Bishop Gerald Jose.
Mm-hmm.
He said, by leveraging our combined resources and expertise, we are able to make a difference in the lives of those facing food insecurity. So I just think while we are in this unstable situation in our country, I'm really grateful to the LDS Church for making sure that they're still contributing and doing what they can to help with those hunger problems all over the world because we know that we're struggling right now in our country with how we're going to move forward on those types of things. So the church, we're moving forward. We're going to continue with what we're doing. We'll continue to give more. And I think that's really commendable.
Yeah, definitely. Continue to do, no matter what. You know what, as I'm looking over these stories, I also recognize that we're going to have you back again in the soon nearish future, maybe right before Secret Lives season 2 comes out, because we got a lot of things coming out. Little spoilers, little drips, little tidbits. What is a lavender marriage? We're not talking about that tonight, but I learned all about that. Michaela had a lot of life that I was unaware of. A huge story about that. Is Taylor Frankie Paul's? Okay. There's lots of things that that will be in a future episode. Don't worry. We'll warn you, and all you people that go, not interested, you won't have to do it. Let's end it on this, actually. Your sister, in the back of my mind, Megan the Mitchell, a long time ago with her podcast, which, do you know, I don't think that she's still doing it currently. Other parts of her life has taken over.
Yeah. It's been about a year, I think, since she's recorded.
When I spoke with her about it before, I think that she'd said, I'm going to try, or maybe it's just a small hiatus. But I didn't want to do that. Anyway, I'm 99% sure that she interviewed Elder Castleton, Logan Castleton, the rapping missionary.
She did. She totally did.
Yeah. So it has now blown up a lot bigger, huge article from the church about this. I think this is just today, where he is on TikTok. You might have seen these videos. I'm not sure. It's from birth. Here it is. A hypoplastic left heart syndrome and underdevelopment of the heart. So he has got the oxygen that he carries with him, and he raps. He does songs on TikTok about the church, about finding the gospel, the Book of Mormon, and all these things. And I think that he wasn't able to go and serve a proselyting missionary because of his health concerns. So he serves as a service missionary, which, guess what? It's all service. It's all the Lord. It's all Team Jesus. Everyone calm down. Yeah. But I think when he first started doing it, there were a lot of people that were like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's just consistently doing it, and has gotten better about it as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing videos of his popping up on my social media like weekly, a new video. Like, this is amazing. What a great thing. What a great talent he has. And to be able to do that and share it, I think it's really awesome. And I loved when Megan, when she interviewed him, she really loved getting to know him. So
yeah, I felt bad. She gave me his contact information, and I didn't take that opportunity, and now he's going to be too big.
Yeah.
Elder Castleton, he'll be like, should have when you had the chance, Stedman. You missed your chance.
Yep.
I'm a big deal now, the rapping missionary.
Yeah, great.
Our culture is sweet.
Have you ever interviewed the girl who does the Comeback podcast?
Her name is what is it?
Something Stone. Her last name is.
I have not, but should. And she should interview me if we're being candid. I came back.
I love that. It's one of I listen to her podcast all the time. And I've thought about you. I'm like, you need to be on her podcast, and vice versa. She needs to be on yours. So we need to make that happen because it's a great podcast. Sorry. Side note. No.
I think people need to check that out. And we should. If you have a connection to her, let's do it. Let's make that connection. Let's make that happen. Future episode. Those suggestions and all other suggestions and or feedback, contact at theculturalhall.com. Well, I'm glad we caught you. Going on another vacation tomorrow. Great to have you. We'll see you again after several weeks, whatever.
I'll be back soon. We got to talk about the Real Housewives or the Mormon Wives next week.
Are you going anywhere fun? What's the next thing? Actually, you know what? Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I'm going on a hike. Okay, let me tell you this very quickly. So this is brilliant. I love brilliance in marketing. Yeah. And I'm telling you, take this as it applies to you probably have to be careful because franchise, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But there's a company in Utah that they give, they're like an outdoor company, a hiking company. And they have set out for 2025, if you hike any of these hikes, take a picture tag us in it on social media, come and get a free patch.
Who is it? What company?
It's Timpanogos Hiking Company.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like I think it's just a one-shop thing down in Provo somewhere.
That's cool.
So, but then if you hike all of the hikes on a particular part of it, you get the bigger patch.
Wow.
And if you do like a certain amount of miles, you can do that. And then they have this thing that I really love, which is like, just go do something active. It's like one of the hikes is like Ensign Peak or like the Y in Provo. It's these sort of shorter hikes. Not that the Y is easy by any means, but it certainly isn't the same as Timpanogos, climbing Mount Timpanogos. But they have these sort of like escape the noise, get away from your cell phone, you're the city, blah, blah, blah kind of things. And they have patches and incentivizes for that, right? It is brilliant. Because you know what? I don't know that I want to do all of those hikes necessarily, but I can get a patch that has absolutely no value. Are you kidding me? I have to get a patch. It's brilliant. If you could do the Girl Scout cookie crumble sash where you tried the Oreo cookie, and so you got that, and then you wanted to try the special of the one that week, but you have to buy it on that day, otherwise you don't get the patch, that crap would kill.
That's so true. Yeah, I love that idea. I'm actually going to be in Utah next week for meetings at Crumble Corporate. I'll bring that up.
Okay. You're going to talk to him about being on the show when it's
I will.
appropriate.
I know. I will. There's been some struggles, but I will definitely. It'll happen.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, just some stuff. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I know. Listen, I'd love the interview, but don't risk your store on it. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
We hope that this episode has nourished and strengthened your body.
And if you weren't well enough to be here this week, you'll be able to be here next week.
Almost. And that when the time comes, you'll be able to travel home in safety.
In the meantime, Chris at Alpine Lakes Travel, Debbie Wanless, Chocolate Cake Bites Podcast, and the Tiger, with a U, will be saving a seat for you
on the back row
of the Cultural Hall.
Save me a seat, it's sure to be neat on the back row. We really gotta go on the Cultural Hall show.